We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. We heard how Bhishma Dev, he instructed Yudhishthir Maharaj about how he should carry on his duties. Then, after finishing his own duties, Bhishma Dev, he fixed his mind on Krishna, who was also there present, and he left this body willingly and entered into Krishna. That does not mean that he merged, becoming absolutely one with him, but enter into him means he entered into that transcendental lila of Krishna for eternal service of him. So then we also heard that after performing funeral rituals for the dead body of Bhishma Dev, Maharaj Yudhishthir was momentarily overtaken with grief. So that is allowed, having grief for some time, not too long and like totally overwhelmed, because that is due to ignorance. But also we should not artificially suppress, because Krishna in Gita says, those who are wise, they will not mourn, they are not disturbed, but it is by nature happening. But for those who are advanced or pure devotees, it is only for some time, then it goes. Tuštuvur munayo Hristach Krishnam tad guhya namabhih tataste Krishna hridayach swashramam prayayuh punah. All the great sages then glorified Lord Shri Krishna, who was present there, by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. So, all the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc. are seeking Him only, means Krishna. And all hymns are for glorifying Him only. The sages therefore perform the exact act suitable for the purpose, and they happily departed for their respective hermitages. Our Gurudev told, we should sing the songs of realized souls, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Thakur, Rupa Goswami, those who are realized souls, or Satyavrata Muni, Bilva Mangal, they. Why? Because they wrote those songs from their pure devotion to Him. They are actually singing His glories for His satisfaction by His grace. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in that song, Siddha deho diya Brindavana maje sebamrita koradan Piyaya prem mata korimore shuno nijo gunogan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is submitting his prayer to Radha Krishna. Please bestow me my spiritual realized form in Vrindavan and give me the nectar of your service. Make me drink that prem for you, and in that intoxicated state, I will sing your glories and you will hear. So it is always dependent on His grace. We can get His service only by His grace. That is the point. So Krishna giving that gives us proper ability to serve Him. Because everything is coming from Krishna. Matah sarvam pravartate. Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained that verse of Gita very nicely. Everything is coming from Krishna. Also, worship of him is coming from him. From Radharani. Radharani is not different from Krishna. So all kinds of worship, it is coming by her grace. So getting that grace of pure devotee, we can do service of Krishna. Otherwise it is impossible. So our Gurudev told, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Thakur, they are all pure devotees. They are singing the glories of Krishna for his satisfaction. And Vedas are anyhow, they are coming from Krishna to sing his glories. So Gurudev said we should not, when we are in our bound state, we should not make our own compositions out of our mental something, and there may be apasiddhanta, rasa, bhas, or for some other desires, oh, I am a great poet, and like this. We should not do that. We should follow established acharya songs. Even if we don't understand their meaning, they're acting like a mantra. Even if you don't understand the word by word meaning of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, if you sincerely sing them, Krishna will be satisfied. Why? Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur satisfied Krishna by his grace. So we will follow those songs because Krishna will be satisfied by that. And we will get devotion because that is transcendental sound. It is not Bengali, it is transcendental Bengali. It is love of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Thakur. So here also all the sages, they glorified Lord Shri Krishna by confidential Vedic hymns. Or Satyavrata Muni hero Damodarashtaka. That we are following because he satisfied Damodar Bhagavan by that song, Biramangal Thakur. If once we get our perfected spiritual form, we become a realized soul, and by the grace of Radharani we are in prema, then also we can compose songs. Automatically they will come for their glorification, but not in bound state. We will get diverted. Even Mahaprabhu himself was always hearing the songs of Chandidas, Vidyapati, previous realized poets, and he isključi video, I don't know. Your video is on. So this song we have to follow, then Krishna will be satisfied. Tato Yudhishthiro Gatva Saha Krishna Gajahvayam Pitaram Santvayam Asa Gandharim Chatapasinim. Thereafter, Maharaj Yudhishthir at once went to his capital, Hastinapur, accompanied by Lord Shri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an ascetic. You see, in Shastra also it is there. Some ladies, they also become ascetic. They are not that all ladies only for household life. They are generally like that, but they should worship Krishna. But some, they have also our Parangurudev. Parangurudev, there were two his disciples, female disciples, and they were very devotionally inclined, interested for sadhana. So they said to Parangurudev, we don't want to get married and enter this family life, said yes, you stay independent and do bhajan. So it is not absolutely must for all. It is not like that. Prabhupada also, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also made Vishnu Priya village in Mayapur for lady devotees. Some were widows, but some were also like devotionally inclined, like Ganga Mata Goswami never married. Like they may also, and Madhavi Devi is there in Shastra, and Patit Pavan Prabhu, disciple of Prabhupada, he also made many ashramas for ladies. Our Gurudev also told if some ladies they wanted to lead such a life, he directed them to that ashram. They are doing everything. Arati in India, ladies they are doing arati, and in the cooking, all services they are doing. And Guru is also lady. Guru Prapanna ashram you can find. So it is not impossible. Also you find in Upanishad, Gargi, Maitreyi, they are studying Upanishads. That is generally like not for ladies in those days. Only males, Brahmins, they would study, but they can do. Also, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, tomorrow we will hear about him. He wrote Samskara Dipika and Satkriya Sar Dipika. So in Samskara Dipika, he also wrote about sannyas, how to take sannyas in Gauriya Vaishnavism. And there also he mentioned it is possible for ladies also. I'm giving example of Madhavi Devi, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur also commented there. And Purnamasi, she's ascetic in Vrindavan, Purnamasi. And she's wearing what kind of color of cloth as an ascetic? Saffron color cloth. So that is not like invented by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. No. Sannyas is from eternal time. Sannyas is mentioned in Shastra. It's mentioned in Shastra, and there are many types of sannyas and different stages and like this and what color. And for Tridanda sannyas you will find in Skanda Puran that they are not giving up their Sika, always chanting Gayatri and Tridanda. And in Ramanuja Sampradaya they accepted this system. And Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur only he introduced it to Gauriya Vaishnavism, and I told about what were all the reasons he had to do this. But it is not that this is something new. It is already in Shastra and in Nitya Lila. Purnamasi is sannyasini in saffron cloth, Jogamaya. Pitra Chanumato Raja Vasudevanu Chakara Rajyam Dharmena Pitri Peitamaham Vibhu. After this, the great religious king Maharaj Yudhishthir executed the royal power in the kingdom strictly according to the codes and royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Shri Krishna. That is perfect king, perfect leader, perfect administrator, perfect government. Such will be for eternal benefit of all. But deviation from this and executing power for some selfish purposes, that will ruin the people and yourself also. You will also get reaction at appropriate time. There will be reaction to sinful activities. Krishna sees everything. Krishna is giving the fruits. So here Yudhishthir is a perfect householder and he's doing his own duty and approved by Krishna, and he's also doing bhajan. Chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. Shaunaka Uvach. Hatva Swariktha Spridha Atataino Yudhisthiro Dharma Britam Varishta Saha Nujai Pratya Varudha Bojana Katham Pravritah Kim Akarasi Tata. In Kali Yuga we see mostly corrupted is the leaders, the administration, mostly corrupted, and it will be more and more degraded. Shaunaka Muni asked, after killing his enemies who desired to usurp his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all religious men, Maharaj Yudhishthir, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. The point was, the Duryodhan and his party, they were unjustly not wanting to give them proper inheritance. And even Pandavas, they said, okay, no need everything, at least to give us 5 villages to rule, because we are Kshatriyas, how otherwise we will live? That is according to our nature. You give us 5 villagers. He said, no. Even on the pin or needle, the top of the needle or pin, that much land I will not give you, he said. Then it was inevitable that war is there. Krishna proved it. And he encouraged Arjuna, yes, you have to do this. Because that is wrong. They are Kshatriyas, but they are greedy and selfish, and they will ruin everything. So you Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, you have to do this. And also because it is my mission to remove the burden of this world, so you have to do. So that was rightful fight, just fight. So rightful inheritance. So then Maharaj Yudhishthir, assisted by his brothers, there are 5 Pandavas, how he ruled. Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. It is an important question by Shaunaka Muni. Suta Uvach. Vamsham Kuror Vamshadavagni Nirhritam Sam Rohayitva Bhava Bhavanuhari Niveshayitva Nijarajya Ishwaro Yudhishtiram Prita Mana Babhuvaha. Suta Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. All were killed there in that Kurukshetra war. So the Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhishthir was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru, in the person of Maharaj Parikshit, was saved in the womb. We heard that before. Nishamya Bhishmoktam Atha Chutoktam Pravrita Vijnana Vidhuta Vibrama Shashasagam Indra Iva Jitashreya Paridhyu Pantam Anu Janu Vartitaha. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Shri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Only when we do right activities, we will have no time to do, no chance to do wrong activities. So it is not enough just to try to stop wrong activities. That will not last for a long time. Because it is in the nature of Jiva that she is active principle. So we have to accept right action. When doing right action, automatically wrong actions will be removed, like in 10 kinds of namaparat. We should not criticize devotees. But how this will happen? When we will sing the glories of devotees. That is our constitutional position. We have to positively do service. We belong to Krishna, we belong to Vaishnavas, so we have to serve them. We should not criticize, means we should serve. In Guru, you have to obey. Someone does not criticize Guru, but he's not following his instructions, so there will be no actual benefit in that. We have to follow his instructions. All these 10 offenses we have to positively do, then they can be removed. Singing the glories of Vaishnavas, accepting Krishna as Supreme Lord, whose name, form, attributes and pastimes are non-different because they are transcendental, and all demigods, they are his servants. And we are accepting Guru as personal associate of Krishna, realized, so transcendentally situated, and obeying him, and not criticizing Shastra, but singing the glories of Shastra, reciting Shastra, following Shastra, and not thinking that glories of Harinam in Shastra, they are exaggerated. No. With firm faith, we can realize that there is no exaggeration. Harinam is omnipotent. And we will not make our mental or intellectual interpretation to holy name. Holy name has his own natural meaning, which is revealed to a surrendered soul, like Shastra saying. You cannot understand the meaning of Harinam by intellect. It will reveal himself. Then you will understand why one should not and cannot also have any interpretation of holy name by his intellect, by theory. It is beyond. And one should not think that chanting of holy name is like some pious activity, equal with other pious activities like giving in charity and doing some yagyas like this. No. Harinam is supreme, best. And it is giving highest, that is Krishna Prem, eternal welfare. Nothing is as chanting of Harinam. Nothing is equal. That is why also all Vedas and Upanishads, they are doing arati of Harinam, Prabhu, worshipping him. And all liberated souls, Shukadeva Goswami, Narad, liberated souls, pure devotees, they are worshipping Harinam all the time. So one should not think that these pious activities are same as chanting Harinam. Of course, that means without offenses, for the satisfaction of Krishna. Pure name, real name. So one will give his effort to chant Harinam for Krishna satisfaction, without deviation. That will be his main focus. Devotion. And one will not commit sinful activities intentionally with the view, later I will chant Harinam and they will be destroyed. No, that is wrong. He will chant Harinam and he will avoid all sinful activities, not do, for the satisfaction of Krishna. And he will not be inattentive to Harinam, because Harinam Prabhu is my object of worship. I am his eternal servant. So he will pay attention willingly, with affection. His mind will not wander here and there, because he realizes his relation with Harinam. But we sadhakas, we have to practice this attention, attentiveness. It is natural for our conditioned now state, our mind will wander here and there, but we should practice. Bring him back to Harinam. Again it will wander, bring him back. This practice we have to do. I remember there was one devotee. I saw him because we were in the same room in Mayapur, Navadip Dham Parikrama. He was chanting Mala, and at the same time with left hand, he was doing so much work on his computer. Then I thought maybe something urgent or something, but every day it was happening like that. Then I told him, Prabhu, that is actually not good. When we are chanting Mahamantra, especially when on Japamala, then we should pay attention, or we should practice this. Of course, like we know, when someone is doing in garden something or any other work, he may always chant Harinam or while taking bath like that. But especially when Japamala, that time we should concentrate, that time should be dedicated for this. So I asked him, why you are doing this? Again and again. He said, because anyhow my mind is not concentrating, so better I can do some other work in between. Like intentionally, because anyhow I cannot concentrate, so then I will do some other work. Then I said, this is not correct. This time for fixed number of chanting Harinam, which Gurudev gave as a practice, Mahaprabhu gave, that time should be spent. Okay, yes, our mind is not attentive, but we have to practice it, to bring back that practice. Not that anyhow my mind is not fixed, so I will do some other things in between. That is wrong. There is a fixed number of daily one has to chant name according to his capacity, and that time should be spent for this practice only. So I try to explain to him that we should not avoid this practice. Yes, we are not perfect in that, but that does not mean that we will not practice and do some other thing. It will be offense. Then that devotee, he understood, and from that time on, at least he was trying to when chanting, he did not do other things, but he was at least trying to practice this. Then if one is sincere, gradually more and more his heart will be purified of all other desires, which they are deviating our mind, and gradually we can fix our mind. But we should not neglect this practice just because we are not perfect, so let me do some other things in between. That is insincere. When we are doing other services, cooking, cleaning, or whatever, that time we can chant, but not with mala, because anyhow our hands are busy. But japa time should be for this only. That is one kind of practice. You will find in 64 limbs of devotional service. One is also japa, repetition of mantra. One is congregational chanting, that is one thing. Another is, this is individual, repetition of mantra jap, and that is with concentration. At least we have to practice. So Mahaprabhu also told them, to those devotees, means householders who were pious, they had Sukriti, they wanted to get grace of Mahaprabhu, so Mahaprabhu gave them this mantra, Mahamantra, Prabhu kohe kohilam, ei Mahamantra, iha japa giya save korya nirbandha, iha hoite sarva siddhi hoye vesavar, sarva khana boloite bidi nahiar. He said, this, what I told you now, this is Mahamantra. So you go and you chant this Mahamantra Nirbandha, means fixed number. By this practice, you will get all perfection. And at other times, when you are not counting, you can all the time chant this Mahamantra. There are no rules and regulations, but he gave order, fixed number. So that fixed, when we are counting with Japamala, we have to practice this attention. Once we come to the stage of Nishta, attention will be automatic. But if we are not in that stage, then we have to practice this, try again and again. That is why our Gurudev also told, you have to practice chanting of Harinam both congregationally and individually also. Because it is not always possible like to have congregational chanting if their household devotees living. Gurudev said at least once in a week devotees should meet, and on every Ekadashi, and like this. Then gradually you can increase 2 times a week, then gradually you should come to daily. But at least once in a week, and at least on Ekadashis, devotees should meet. At other times, you should practice individually in your house, as Mahaprabhu also told them. And the fixed number, one has to start with one Granthi. You will find in Harinam Chintamani, Haridas Thakur is explaining to Mahaprabhu. One Granthi means 4 rounds. 4 rounds. That is minimum. After taking Mala from Gurudev, daily you have to chant minimum 4 rounds. It is like giving food to Mala. Mala should not fast. Like if you produce one child and then you don't give him to eat, then it will be bad. Like that, Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, Malika upabas na. Malika should not fast. Mala, japa means repetition of mantra. Mala means that rosary. That is why japa mala. Or short, one can say mala or malika, japa mala. But that japa mala is not great. We say in short, where is my japa? But it is not totally correct to say like that. Because japa is a name of a practice. Repetition of mantra fixed number. That is japa. And it is used for Gayatri and other mantras, and for Maha Mantra also Jap. Jap. One is Kirtan, means to loudly chant. Jap means silently, mentally, and with counting. The Japa. That is why Japa Mala is Mala for Japa. So 4 rounds one has to start. Then after, when he feels he can do more, he has to increase by 4 rounds. Our Gurudev also told. 4, then 8. Then again 4 more, that is 12. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur there, he's writing, the goal is to reach 16 grantis. Means 16 times 4 rounds, that is 1 lakh. 64 rounds, that is the goal. But gradually one can get. And then one can also go to 3 lakh, is also there, if there is no other such service, then he can go to 3 lakh. Naturally he will go like Haridas Thakur if there is no other service, because he will get that taste all the time. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was also chanting 3 lakhs Harinam daily in Mayapur Dham, 6 years. First he was in Puri, and he was mat in charge in one mat, ancient mat in Puri, but he was so strict, so truthful and like this, that they became disturbed. No one could follow him. And they became against him, and there was some disturbance. He was not wrong, but others they could not tolerate. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him, okay, they are too much disturbed, so better you go to Mayapur and do bhajan there. That time Mayapur was not developed, nothing. So he came there, and for 6 years continuously, because no any other service, no mat, no this, nothing, he was chanting 3 lakhs every day, Harinam, and eating prasad from the ground as a tapasya. It is mentioned in Shastra, go grass. Like a cow, eating like a cow. One kind of tapasya is this. So for 6 years at a stretch he was doing this, because no any other service. And with bliss all the time. Some followers even came at that time, when he was not yet sannyasi and nothing. So he did that. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and Panchatattva, all they came, and Guru Parampara. And then they ordered him, you have to preach. Then he started preaching, but he was not thinking about preaching. Then he did all other devotional forums, 64. Why? Not because he needs, but we need. We are not capable, even we have difficulty to chant 16 rounds daily. What to speak of 64? 64 is normal for Vaishnava. 64 is daily, normal. What to speak of 3 lakhs, means 192 rounds. Mahaprabhu wanted every household devotee should chant 64 rounds daily. Counting. Then, but we are not able to. So, they are engaging us, our senses, in different kinds of services for the deity of Krishna, or for propagating the message of Mahaprabhu, or for begging collection for deity like this, so that our senses are engaged, our mind is engaged, and more we can become purified, then more we can chant Harinam properly and with attention, and we will get that transcendental bliss. When you get that ruchi, then you can chant continuously. It is like eating nectar or drinking nectar. No question of any struggle or like this. But if we are not on that level, then we have to chant fixed number as much as we are capable. according to our situation. If you are a householder, if you have job, if you are Matavasi, and depends how many services you have, then in 1 week you have to see how much you can chant in 1 week every day. You are capable to, not under too much pressure, but also that you are not also wasting time for other things. What is necessary, job, others, if you are in math, also they have not much time, many responsibilities there, but all for the service of Krishna, as engaged the Guru and household. So in 1 week, 7 days, you have to see yourself how much you are able to maintain. Then you have to maintain that practice, and then when your heart will become more and more pure, then Krishna will change your situation, and then you can increase, and you will have that desire to increase. Sometimes situation may change in such a way that you will have to decrease also. It is also possible. If for some other necessary service will come in your life, like someone becomes mat in charge, he gets many responsibilities, but that is also all for the service of Krishna. So he will chant less number on the mala, but his service of Krishna will not be less, because that is also service, and also while he will do that, all the time he will also chant. But if someone does not have these other services, then chanting, then slowly one should increase, but starting at 4 after initiation. 4, then 8, like this, and goal is 1 lakh, 64. And they're getting complete realization, as we heard from that Ramdas Prabhu. Prabhupada sent that very learned man to hear from him about meaning of Bhagavatam. Then that devotee was surprised. Why? He's working in garden. What he will teach me? Then that Ramdas Prabhu said, yes, really, I don't know anything. I don't know any Sanskrit shloka, nothing. So you better find someone else who can teach you. Out of humility, he said. That is natural for devotee. Then again, that devotee came to Prabhupada. Do you please order someone to teach me? Then he said, already I told you about Ramdas. You go to him. But he said, I don't know anything. Then Prabhupada became annoyed, said, no, he knows everything. From him, you should hear. You tell him, I ordered you. So then again he had to come, and he said, you know, Prabhupada ordered me. So you please tell me about Bhagavatam. Then that Ramdas Prabhu said, I don't know any Sanskrit shlokas. What I know is that this land here belongs to Krishna. Diti. I belong to Krishna. My body belongs to Krishna. My subtle body belongs to Krishna. My real self belongs to Krishna. So when I'm working in this garden to cultivate vegetables on the order of Gurudev, then that vegetables will be offered to Guru Gaurango Gandharvika Giridhari, and prasad will be given to Gurudev, to Vaishnavas. That is my service. And these cows, they are very dear to Krishna. When I'm serving them, Krishna is pleased, and their milk is offered to Guru Gaurango Gandharvika Giridhari. That prasad is given to Gurudev and to Vaishnavas. And in Kali Yuga, one has to chant Harinam. So while I'm working in the garden and serving cows, I'm all the time chanting Harinam. Not with Malika at that time, but all the time chanting. But when he was free, after prasad or some time is there, in the evening or when he's free, then he was also doing fixed number. Maybe not big number, but he was doing also Japamala fixed number. But by that practice, following the order of Guru, engaging all the senses, everything, and chanting Harinam sincerely, some fixed number, something all the time, he became realized soul. Then that devotee was astonished because he told what is actually Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means service of Krishna and his devotees. He spoke from his realized state. So it depends on a sincere practice. So here we see Yudhishthir Maharaj followed the order of Bhishma and Krishna. What is his duty for the service of Krishna? So there were no misgivings possible at all. He was doing right action. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Kamam Vavarsha Parjanya Sarva Kama Dugha Mahi Sishi Chusma Vrajan Gavach Paya Sodhaswatir Muda. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the clouds showered all the water that people needed because there were no sinful activities. When there are sinful activities, then there will be reaction in nature. Sometimes too much rain, there will be flood. Sometimes that drought, no rain, no water. That is all nature is reacting because of sinful activities. But if everything is right, king is right, others are right, then everything is going on very nicely. All the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. That is the point. People now, they think by some material technologies and this, we will fix all the problems. No. Problem is sinful activities. They are causing problem. Unless that is stopped, there will be reaction. We are trying to treat the symptoms without treating the root of the disease. It will not be successful. That is why in Kali Yuga it is going more and more down, and in the more it will go, also in Bhagavatam is written, then there will be shortage of food, water, and all these things. It is happening due to sinful activities of any man. It is not only that leading man, elite, they are doing sinful activities. No, the ordinary also doing. And then they will overthrow them, and then when they will come on top, they will also become corrupt, because when you have position, if you are not moral, if you don't accept the service of Krishna, then you will also feel temptation to cheat. So it is all the time by karma it is going on. Sometimes they are on top, they exploit, and they suffer because they did this before. And then again it will change and they will have to suffer, and they exploit. All the time happening by karma like this. Because Krishna is the giver of fruit. And there is no mistake. Krishna is the giver of fruit of our actions. There is no mistake. Everything is just. If we want to solve the situation, then we have to rectify ourselves. not try to forcefully change others, because they are not the cause of the result of my action. My actions are there. So I have to rectify myself. Then, by the grace of Krishna, his maintainer, he's protected, you can be fine in this world and in the spiritual world. But unless you become devotee, pure devotee, there will always be trouble. Whether you will be on top or on the ground or whatever, because your anarthas are the problem. That is causing problem, not others. An environment like this, no, my wrong actions, they are causing problem to me. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. You see, even on the ground, so much milk, it was flowing on the ground also. Profuse milk. Why? Cow was happy, protected, served, everything. So automatically is there. But when we deviate from proper action, doing sinful activities, then everything is spoiled. And unless this is changed, you cannot solve the problems. But how we can change? First, I have to change myself. Then that can give inspiration to others. I have to give up all wrong activities, all wrong desires, and completely surrender to Krishna for his service. Then I can be rescued, and then I can also help others. That is the only way. You cannot help others unless you yourself are in the shelter of Krishna. They can pull you down. So we have to be careful that we do under the guidance of realized soul, according to individual guidance, which will be according to our present state, capacity, and everything. So tomorrow we will observe Gopal, Bhatta Goswami and Ramchandra Kaviraj. We will hear about them.